Hello, once again, I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to be looking at DNS, A record, and CNAME record. We are not going to belabor ourselves with the theoretical drama of the meaning, the definition, and all that. No, it's going to be straight onto hands-on. What the information I tend to pass across today is how can you create a DNS A record and a DNS CNAME record, and when would you use an A record or a CNAME record? So, like I said, we are not going to be going to the theoretical, we're not going to waste our time on the theory. We'll just quickly look at it. But if you look at the screen, I have put a very quick definition there. A record resolves IP address to domain name, and while CNAME record resolves domain name to another domain or subdomain. What are we saying here? Let's assume you spin up a server, okay? You have your server here, and you have set up a server. Let's assume on an EC2 machine. Let's assume you set up the server on an EC2 machine, and this server is going to have what? An IP address. Okay, let's say the IP address of your server is, let's say, 42 dot. Okay, let me just take an arbitrary number. Let's assume your IP address is 1.2.3.4. Let's assume the IP address of the server. Okay, then you will not want to give this IP address to your client, so that each time they want to access your server, then they have to go on to browser and type 1.2.3.4. And at the same time, it also exposes your server to security issues, okay? Because you are exposing the IP address, and so the bad guys out there could give them, a propensity to try to want to try something with the IP address. So in this case, you would rather want to give a name and a human-friendly name that your users, the visitor to your web server, your client or your customer, will be familiar with, that will enable them to easily remember and access your web server. So in this case, let's assume I have an e-commerce online store. Maybe my web server is for an e-commerce online store, and the IP address is this, and I decide to buy or register a domain name. In one of my videos, I explain on how you can register a domain name. That you can do good by try to watch the video. I'm going to put the link right in the comment. So if the name is, let's assume the name of your e-commerce is my ebiz.com. I just want to put it simple like that, my ebiz.com. Now it's going to be very easy for any user to remember this, my ebiz.com, instead of typing 1.2.3.4. So how do you now convert or resolve this IP address to what? To carry this name? And that is where your DNS A record comes in. So your DNS A record allows you, okay, to convert your IP address, or if I may use it in a more acceptable term, to resolve your IP address into a domain name. So in this case, we are going to be resolving 1.2.3.4 into what? My ebiz.com. So instead of typing 1.2.3.4, you will simply type what? My ebiz.com, and it's going to take you to the same address or the same server. So what you have done here is you have successfully resolved your IP address into a domain name using your what? A record. We are going to see that in our hands-on. And on the other side, when will you use a CNAME? Okay, a CNAME record, a CNAME record is used when you want to map a domain name. Okay, you have a domain name. Okay, this domain name can either be, maybe your CloudFront, maybe your CloudFront address, cloud address. It could be your application load balancer. Okay, it could be your application load balancer. It could be your network load balancer. It could be any form of load balancer whatsoever. Okay, it could be your subdomain address. Okay, subdomain. Okay, and you want to map it to another domain. You want to map it to another domain, as we are going to see it in the hands-on. That is where a CNAME record comes in. Okay, get it straight. For a record, you are changing an IP address to a domain name. But in CNAME record, you are changing a domain name to another domain name, either a domain name to another subdomain name. C record also helps you to connect a domain and a subdomain together, as we are going to see it in our hands-on. So what next now? Let's jump onto the hands-on and try to demonstrate what we have just explained. So as a result of this, I'm going to go onto my AWS console. I'm going to spin up an EC2 machine. I'm going to set up a web server on that machine, and we are going to pick the IP address, and we are going to convert it to, we are going to resolve it to a domain name, and we're also going to take the public DNS of the EC2 machine and also convert that one to what? To a domain name. So I'm going to launch an EC2 instance. I'm going to come here, launch instance, and I'm going to call it, okay, let me just call it DNS server. I'm going to call my server DNS server. Okay, I'm going to go for Ubuntu. Yes, I can go for 22.04. That is fine. I'll just go with T2 micro. Okay, I already have my key pair. I'm going to select my key pair because I need to connect. I need to SSH into the machine. Now, since we are going to be accessing this server through the web browser, I'm going to allow SSH traffic to enable me connect, to enable me SSH into the machine. I'm equally going to allow HTTP and HTTPS because I want to access a web browser. And I'm going to leave it at 8 gig. That is fine. Can decide to go ahead and use a user data, but I don't want us to do that. I want us to learn one or two things more. So I think this is fine, and I will just go ahead and launch the instance. So the instance is been it's been launched. So I'm going to click on the ID of the machine. Okay, and this is the machine coming up now. So this is our DNS server machine. This is the instance ID. The machine is in the pending state, so let's wait. And now we have the IP address of the machine. This is the IP address of the machine. So I'm going to use this IP address to SSH into the machine while the machine is still what? In the pending state. So I'm going to pull up my terminal. I'm going to make it big. I'm just going to open another terminal here, and I'm going to clear the screen. And I'm going to what? I'm going to connect. I'm going to SSH into this machine. So I'll do the command is SSH-I, which stands for interaction, and I'm going to put the path to my key pair, which is the home /.ssh/ my key pair. My key pair. This is the name of my key pair, and the username of my machine is Ubuntu. You know that, of course. Let me quickly show you. You know how to do that. For any Ubuntu machine, the username is Ubuntu. And how do you want to know? If you just click on, if you refresh, and if your machine is on, if you click on connect, and you go to the bottom there, you can see it, username, Ubuntu. So the username of the machine is what? Ubuntu. So I'm going to go back, and instead of using the username, I will type Ubuntu at then the IP address, which I have copied. Oh, sorry. This is not the IP address. Oh, sorry. I'll just go back. SSH -I or -I o/dot ssh, my key pair, username, Ubuntu, at, then I'll go back and copy the IP address. This is the IP address here. I'll click on copy. I'll go back to terminal and I will paste it. I'll hit enter and it asks me to connect. I will say yes. Now I have SSH into my machine. So I will clear the screen. And whenever you spin up any virtual machine, the first thing you have to do is to what? Is to update the machine. So I'm going to type sudo. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you to see. So I would have sudo apt update. So this is going to update the machine. And what does the update do? It's going to make all the packages available for you to. All the packages available in the present in the Ubuntu machine will be made available for you to use. Now, when the update is completed, I'll clear the screen. The next thing to do is to install a web server. For you to use your EC2 machine as a web, to host your web application, you need to install a web server. And in that case, I'm going to type sudo apt install Apache 2 -y. Yeah, Apache 2 is the web server for Ubuntu. We have a lot of them. Let me quickly show you something here. We have a lot of web server. Okay, web server enable you to host a website on your machine. So web server for Ubuntu have a common one called Apache 2. Okay, Apache 2. The same web server, if you are using Amazon Linux 2, okay, it is called, in that place, it is called HTTPD. Okay, this is also Apache, but for Amazon Linux 2, it is called HTTPD. We also have Nginx. You have Nginx web server. You can also use that, but this is commonly used for reverse proxy. Okay, it is commonly used for reverse proxy. Okay, even both of them are web server, but they are used for different purposes. So in this case, we are going to be installing Apache web server. So I'll just bring this down. So I'm installing Apache web server. Sudo apt install web server Apache. I'll click enter, so that will be installed. So when that is installed, the next thing I'm going to do is to enable it. Okay. So the next thing you want to do is to enable. So I'm going to clear the screen. Is to enable it. So for example, now if I check the machine system CTL, if I check the status Apache 2. If I check the status, you can see it is running and it is enabled. But it's important for you to enable it. Why? So that each time you start the server, the web server will automatically start. So how do we enable it? So we'll do a systemctl enable what? Apache 2. I'll click enter. Okay, system now there. Okay, so I need to put sudo. Oh, it's asking for password. Okay, it's asking for password. We don't really need that. So I'm going to put sudo because this is not necessary. I'll just come out of it and I will clear the screen and I will do sudo. I want to do sudo. I think that is what the problem. Sudo. Okay, so that works now. So that has enable. You can see it says executing this is enable Apache 2. So that has been done. And anytime you enable a system, you try to restart it. Anytime you enable a system, you try to restart it. So I'm going to go ahead and restart now. So and that is what systemctl restart. Okay, or you can just say start. I need to put sudo. Okay, sudo systemctl start Apache 2. So I've started. So let's check the status again. So Apache 2 is up and running now. So the next thing we are going to do now is let's install our web server. So I have a simple I have a simple HTML server here. Okay, this is the code. You don't have to bother yourself. You don't have to hit. You don't have to hit your head on the wall. I'm not a programmer. I just went onto AI. Sorry about the noise in the background. I just went onto sorry about this noise. I just went into AI and I said AI should give me, was it Chat GPT or Microsoft Copilot? I just asked him to give me a simple HTML web page and I described what I wanted and they gave me that page. So we have to now host this page. So how do you do that? You go to CD into where the file is, which is CD into VAR, and then we are going to cd into www, which is a website. Cd into www, enter. We are going to cd into HTML because it's an HTML file. So I'm going to cd into HTML, cd into HTML. Okay, that is where I am now. I will clear the screen. And if you open your HTML, we have index.html there. So we are going to update this index.html because that is where the web server is being hosted. So I'm going to vi into index.html. So, and you can see what is there. This is the what do we call it? The default Apache web server. So I'm going to take it off. Okay, I'm going to take it off. I want to delete everything. So you can use so many things to delete it. So, but I can just use VGGYY, or you can just type 100DD, and that will go away. Okay, 100DD, that will go away. 100DD. Okay, I'm trying to clear everything. 100DD. Oh, why is it taking? Okay, 1000DD. Okay, so I think I've cleaned everything now. Let me clean this. There's a better way to clean if you want. Just whichever way you can clean everything, just do it in your own case. Okay, I've cleared everything now, so I'm going to paste. I'm going to paste my the one I got for myself. So this is the one I asked AI to do for me. So the next thing I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm going to save it, and I'm going to click enter. Okay, okay, I think I've pressed enter. Let me try again. Press enter. Sorry. Let me come out of this. Let me do sudo vi index.html. Okay. Yeah, everything. And I'm going to paste this again. And I'm going to save it. Okay, this is better now. I have saved it now. So we have, so let me cut it out to see what we have. Cat index.html file. Okay, that is what I want. Now we have the server. Everything is running. Now I'm going to cd out. So now let us go. Now we have the server hosted. Now let us check if the server is actually working. So I'm going to go back to my EC2 machine. I'm going to copy the public IP address, and I'm going to check if that is working. So let's see if that is working. It's still not yet working. So let's see. Let me put it straight. HTTP :// IP address. Okay, that's it. So that's working. So this is our web server. Okay, now we have the web server running. But like we said, you are not going to be given this IP address to your client. So how do we resolve this IP address? So now let's go back to our EC2 machine here. Sorry, here. Now there's something also called the public DNS. So this is another DNS. Let us also check if you can use this to access your web server. So I'm going to copy the address to. I'm going to open my browser and I'm going to type HTTP : I'm going to put the DNS there and I hit it. And also we have the server. So I'm going to what? Close this, and I'm going to close that as well. Now, let us see how we can what? Change this IP address to a domain name, and that is where A record and C record comes in. So I'm going to go to my domain register. This is a domain register that I use. It's IONOS. So I'm going to log into my domain register. Okay, now that I log into the domain register, okay, let's log in. It's taking a few seconds. Okay, so now this is the domain register. So I'm going to go click on manage domain. And so this is the name of my domain. Okay, now I want to what? Add a record. I want to add a DNS record. So let me click on DNS. And under DNS, I will go on to what? Add record. But if you click on add record, then you have a lot of record here. You have A record, we have CA, we have CNAME. Now, it is also important to mention that, if you remember from my board, I've told you that A record is for mapping IP address to what? To domain name. Also, there's another one called AAA record, for A record. This AAA record is the same thing as what? As the A record. The only difference is that why this one is for IP4, okay? Why your A record is for IP version 4. Your A record is for what? IP version 6. So have that in mind. A record and AAA record are the same, but why one is for IP4, the other one is for what? IP6. So we're going to come here now. So I want to add A record. And what is that? What do I want to call? How do I want to access my web server? Okay. You know, for example, that server is a DNS server. So I'm going to put this one as what? DNS. And what do I want it to point to? I want it to point to the IP address of this machine. So I'm going to come here and copy the IP address of the machine. And I'm going to put it to what? Point to. And I'm going to save. And you can see it right from down here. Look at it. It says DNS dot, because I already have my username. Okay, let me zoom out. Maybe you can see it a little bit. Oh, you can see it now. This is the name I want to call my server, DNS. So, but automatically it has been added to what? The domain name. So I'll just click what? Save. And this is going to take a few seconds for it to resolve. Now, sometimes they might tell you that it can take between 12 to 48 hours. Yes, it's cool, but from my experience, it only takes a few seconds. Now, while we are waiting for this to resolve, let us go ahead and do the CNAME record all at the same time. So if instead of using IP address, I decide to use DNS name, don't forget I told you, let me quickly zoom out a little bit. Don't forget I told you that CNAME is to map one domain name to another domain name. So this is a public domain name for this IP, for this server. So I'm going to be revolving this name. Look at this long name. Let me copy it and put it in the server, for example. And I said HTTP : and I put it. Look at it. It of course you are able to access the server, but of course you will not like to give this type of name to your to your client, to your customer, to type this name. They're not going to remember it. So that is why you need to resolve it to something that you like. So I'm going to close it. I'm going to go back here. So I'm going to copy this domain name, and I'm going to create, since it's a domain name that I want to map to another domain name, I'm going to be creating what is called a CNAME. So here I'm going to click on what? Add record. Okay. Instead of a name, this time I will click on what? CNAME. And what I want to call it, I don't want to call it DNS. The other one is called DNS. Let me call it e-commerce. No, I don't want to call it e-commerce. Let me call it shopping dot. What do I want it to point to? Now, the name I want to call is all I need to put here. Automatically, domain name will be added to it. Look at it at the bottom here. Look at it has been added as what? shopping.suspendemo.com. Don't forget, suspendemo.com is my domain name. But I've created a subdomain now by adding shopping.com. Where do I want it to point to? I want it to point to what? To this DNS record. Look at it. This is the DNS record I want it to point to. And I'm going to go ahead, what? And save it. This is going to take a few seconds to what? To resolve. Now, how do we want to confirm if this domain name or this IP address has been resolved into the domain name? You can quickly go to your terminal. This is your terminal. This is our Ubuntu machine that is hosting the server. So what are we going to do? We can use a command called nslookup. nslookup is a command that will enable you to what? To check the resolution between your IP address and your domain name. And what is the domain name? The domain name here is, let's come back to our domain name. What is the domain name for our A record? DNS dot, what is our domain name? sourcepindemo.com. So I will come here now and I will type nslookup into what? DNS dot sourcepindemo.com and I click enter. You can see now it says what? The domain name is what? This. And the IP address is this. What is the IP address do we have here? 3.92.4.175. Let us see if that is what we have. You should go to our machine, and that is what we have, 3.92.4.197. So what that means is that your domain name, this domain name, has what? Has successfully resolved to this IP address. So that means if I copy this domain name now and I check it in the browser, I must be able to access my server. So I will come here now. So instead of typing the IP address, I will type dns.sourcepin.com, and if I click enter, and of course it's telling me that it's dangerous. Why? Because it is not secure. I'm using HTTP. So let me see that detail. I will say detail and I will continue. As you can see, I'm able to access my domain. You can say now, welcome to DNS Record and CNAME. That is the server. So this one is saying dangerous. Why is that? Because I'm using HTTP, which is not secure. If you want it to be secure, you're going to be adding the SSL certificate. In one of my videos, I explain how you can add an SSL certificate to your domain name. You can do good by trying to watch that video for better understanding. So this is how you can map your IP address to your domain name. Now let us see for that of the DNS CNAME. Let us see if that works. We can also go and check. Now if you go to our record, what is our CNAME record? Our CNAME record is what? Shopping. So it's going to be shopping.sourcepin.com. Let us see if shopping.sourcepin.com has resolved to this this DNS, the public DNS of your EC2 machine. Don't forget, if you go to your EC2 machine, this is the public DNS. That is where we got it. So go to your server, and we are going to type nslookup, and what is the name? shopping.sourcepindemo.com. What do we get? You can see it. It resolves successfully into it. This is the DNS name of the server. So that means if I copy this name now, sourcepin.sourcepin.com, if I copy it and I go to my server or to my browser, I should be able to access my server. So let's see if that works. That is still running sourcepin.com. Let us see. I don't know why that is not working. Okay, it's using HTTPS. Let's change it to HTTP. So let's say HTTP //sourcepin.demo. Let's see if that works. And you can see it. That also works. So in the video, we have been able to show how you can resolve your IP address into a domain name, or how you can resolve a domain name into another domain name using the CNAME record. So this is what I intend to bring to you today. I hope you like this video. I'm going to put all the information in the comment section in case if you want to follow through I'm also going to put the source code of the website. You can as well go onto your AI and request that it just gives you a simple website that you can host. But I'm going to put the information in the comment section in case you want to try it out. Make sure you destroy all the resources so that you don't incur any cost on your AWS account. I hope you like this video, and I will see you in the next video. Please, before you go, I implore you, if you like this video, kindly share and comment or like so that other people can see it, and also so that you can get notification each time a new video is being uploaded. Once again, I thank you for watching this video to the end, and I will see you in the next video.